I'll just do all my Tommy Boy stretching right now. Oh,
Gotta
I
do the
do
Ric Flair
believe,
Hindu
hold on.
squats.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure, I do believe. Let's see what's going on. I do believe we are live. Welcome, everybody, to another BTR stream. This is going to be a legendary stream. We have Styxhexenhammer666 on with us. I haven't seen Styx since 2018 when he was at the National Arts Club for the Gathering of the Minds that I had with Bill Ottman and Lionel and Tim Pool and all that. Styx is a tremendous, prolific, I wouldn't even say YouTuber now, just content creator in general, because he's been branching out. He's got the work ethic of I don't know who. Like, Styx is a truly legendary figure. I happen to agree on many of the things that he brings up on a daily basis. He is my comfort food for when I'm drinking coffee in the morning. I just put the headphones on and listen to his videos. So everybody who is listening to this, all the clankers, don't forget to subscribe right now, and also sneed those super chats, because we are going to be going through some super chats as well. Anyway, guys, I'm going to post all the links, patreon.com. We are also running this thing on Odyssey right now, and we are also running this on DLive and on Twitch. So everybody, I'm going to post all those links. Make sure you subscribe to those. But without further ado, Styxhexenhammer666. We are also joined by the great Charlie Khan, Giovanni Panicietti as always, and we are going to have the great Brittany Venti joining us very soon as well. So welcome everybody once again. Gio, take it away with your monologue, my friend.
Oh, I just wanted to say that what a great pleasure it is to have Styx on, and hopefully we can get into some cordial and friendly disagreement, because BTR, we really are kind of like the McLaughlin group, or kind of like the I don't know, firing line or something. But Styx is an interesting figure. Oh, here's Brittany right there.
Hey, Brittany.
So they're good. My monologue can be a bit better. So Brittany and Styx, I think, occupy a very interesting corner of internet culture. And I do mean culture, because we're getting into an age where the internet itself is a creator, a generator of culture, where they've really sort of seen the birth of various online movements. And in Styx's case, I've seen it to its end. In fact, for example, he was on the stream that basically ended the, I would say, anti-SJW YouTube push. That the infamous one was Sargon and Richard Spencer, which, by the way, Styx, I thought that you did the best performance on that one compared to people that were but it's funny, because in Brittany Venti as well is another figure that,
and Brittany is here right now. Welcome, right Brittany now, Venti, everybody.
Friend of the show.
You guys said 11 a.m., not 10:57 a.m.
I know, we're very sorry. But Brittany as well has occupied a very interesting corner of internet culture in terms of the relation between the viewer and the performer, in terms of blending irony and sincerity, the way in which no streamer is, I mean, let's face it, the average Twitch streamer is not conscious enough to really do what Brittany does.
Well, Venti's doing like that spoof character. Like, she's going so far, like I was saying before about being woker than woke. Like, you have to go so far above and beyond to really get the gag over and really slap somebody in the face with it so that they get it.
But, well, both Styx and Brittany, I think, were born even though Styx existed a lot longer, and Brittany has as well on the internet.
You're calling me old?
I think, well, harken back to like your 2007 videos where you were talking about Satanism and all that stuff. But anyway, no, you look very young, Styx. You've got the fresh, beautiful long hair. Yes, it is. It's the
hasn't aged since he started, I think. Like I mean, he had some times where he tried a new style, but generally, like,
didn't work.
His age is the same.
I'm stuck in like 1971 stylistically.
There you go.
Well, you can up it a couple of years to like the glam rock style if you just copy Britney's hairdo. If you like get the curls in.
You have the Marty Friedman 1999 type.
Yeah, Styx starts wearing like
euthanasia hair,
bright pink and purple.
I'll go for Ozzy when he discovered hard drugs. Maybe.
There you go. But I guess the first question I wanted to ask both Brittany and Styx would be, how has not just the experience of being an online, I mean, I hate this term with a passion, content creator, because I don't think it captures what it really is, but how has it changed? And specifically, how has YouTube changed? For instance, I saw the other day and you covered a video on it that you released. Well, in my time this morning, I'm in Canada, so about the Right Wing Watch, the Jared Holt doxing channel getting banned, but then they got reinstated because, of course, God forbid, they get banned. So how has YouTube also changed in terms of just the communities that both of you come from, and how has YouTube itself instantiated various policies to marginalize what you two specifically or the people around you are doing? And how has it impacted both of you as like quote unquote YouTubers? So maybe Styx and then Brittany.
Okay. Well, first let's get to the good. YouTube is a lot more stable than it was when I first arrived. Like, you don't buffer for 30 minutes to watch a 3-minute video. Some of the things they've gotten right, they've even scaled back some of the copyright abuse in some cases. As we saw with Right Wing Watch, that's probably why they got banned. But they're allowed to abuse copyright as they want because they're leftoids. Most of it, though, in the wake of 2015 or 16 has been negative. It really starts with adpocalypse and it goes on through. And the big problem is not really the rules that they're using, it's the differential enforcement. Mm-hmm. So one person gets demonetized for exactly the same kind of content as another person that they don't get demonetized for. One person gets banned, another person doesn't. So Malnu is not allowed to talk about certain issues. He gets banned. But Jared Holt, if he's on the platform, he can. Myself or Venti or someone like that, we're held to a different standard than someone who's labeled a priority creator. It's just the way that it is. Now, part of it, I think, is profit related. But at the end of the day, initially, YouTube's big creators weren't really profit driven at all. A lot of people got their start on YouTube. It was just for fun. And then the other part is, I don't know that YouTube, technically speaking, early on was even profitable, but it became big. It became big anyway as part of the tail end of the MTV era with Stern style stuff, bum fights and Tourette's guy and all of these great things. Guy, yeah. Now, in order to watch most of the Tourette's guy videos, they want like a copy of your passport, and it's just the most insane thing ever. And it saps some of the fun out of that content creation. But alt tech doesn't do that. They don't do that on Odyssey. They're not doing it on Rumble.
And we are on Odyssey as well. We should get on Rumble. But when it comes to how powerful a lot of these alt-tech or new tech, as you now call them, sticks, are going to be in the future, a lot of people, I think, are too lazy. They stick around on YouTube or on whichever network just because everybody else is on there. What do you think is going to be the straw that's going to break the camel's back, if there is going to be one, unless people are just going to be complacent, that's going to finally get people to start seeing how dangerous it is to have all these centralized, or whatever you want to call it, platforms instead of the new tech?
Well, centralization is inevitable, but I'd say the straw was broken around 2016 because they made it a partisan political issue.
Yeah. But as far as partisan political issues go, you have still a lot of people who just want to go with the flow. People who are absolutely unwoke, and otherwise, they have to pretend to be something that they're not. And will this continue, or do you think at a certain point pressure builds up? If we look at, for example, even the rainbow flag, we had, I remember I saw this post where this guy wrote, conservatives talk about returning back to tradition, and then instead of the new rainbow flag with the triangle thing, they're posting the old rainbow flag as the return to tradition.
Return to tradition.
Yes.
The old ways.
But that goes to this idea of something that, let's say, in more reactionary circles, people always talk about how Cthulhu swims left, if I'm getting that quote correct. Yes, always swims left.
The various incentive structures are there for it to get more, which is another thing we could talk about. I guess we're going to touch on the critical race thing. But before that, Brittany, what do you think about how YouTube has changed? And you've had some troubles with YouTube lately as well. So.
Oh yeah, I've had plenty of trouble. Recently, my whole channel got demonetized, and that was hard to even get back. I'm just lucky that my agent was able to do it because he's a great manager and he saves my ass all the time with YouTube stuff. That's really the only reason. I got lucky. Not everybody has that, and they just get screwed over. They'll at Twitter, YouTube on Twitter, please help me, you guys are screwing me in the ass, and they're like, sorry, it felt really good. So you basically have not a lot of support if you're not one of the chosen ones. And So you have to be YouTube's chosen. And there definitely is, as Styx said, a priority. Because someone like me, if I curse too much in a video, or let's say even talk about sex work, so to speak, prostitution, sex trafficking, I'll get demonetized, even though it's like I can't speak against that issue. I understand if it was for it, if I was supporting it, but I can't even speak against it without getting monetized. And if I even curse too much, it's like banned, demonetized. But I feel like people who are prioritized don't get hit as hard. They're given a little more like leeway. And additionally, with back in the day, I don't know if anybody noticed, I don't know what example to give, but there used to be like these videos called Moon Man, and they used to be on YouTube, and now they're not anymore.
So
that goes
tonight. It's the old mascot from McDonald's has been repurposed and recontextualized into a edgy character known as the Moon Man,
and now Stalinized at this point.
Oh my God! Really? That's hilarious.
And
well,
you
Moon
can't
Man
find any of the songs anymore, even though they're supposed to be like, the whole point of it is to be absurd and offensive. Like, it's not actually like, I doubt someone that watches ads should actually be offended. Like, oh, he said the N-word in a parody song. But you know, you literally can't find them as whites.
They must be on. Somebody must have uploaded those to Odyssey, though, at least.
Oh, and
they must be there.
Yeah, I always took it as a joke about McDonald's and corporate culture. That here's their mascot turned into this horrible, warped mirror version of hell.
Well, it's funny because now, apparently now, Moon Man is Nazball if he's Stalinist. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, maybe you can do like a Moon Man version with communism, like, because that's what people do it, because they can't do like the swastika, right? Because you'll get banned. So what they do instead is they do the hammer and sickle, because it's almost the same thing, but it's like the acceptable version of it. So they could repurpose Moon Man to be like a communist and do the same thing, basically.
There you go.
Well, I mean, Stalin and Marx and all these others were virulent bigots, so I guess.
Yeah, and if you look at the body counts, the Stalinists were way worse.
Yeah,
commies have way higher body counts.
But how much do you think this is also a matter of a lot of, let's say, younger people now, let's say, and Gio, you know about this pretty well, that a lot of younger people are no longer looking at something like the free market, for instance, as being viable. So instead they're going, some, not all, but some are going more socially conservative and fiscally leftist. That seems to be the pattern that's going on right now. So do you think that this is all about, let's say, Styx, do you think that this is all about, let's say, being tired of whatever they see as been the standard conservative paradigm, wanting to try something new, the grass is greener on the other side of the fence? Do you think that the commies are winning in that sense, at least, or no?
No, I think the commies have consistently lost, and there's a reason for that. I think that basically the internet, though, is just opening people up to any idea that happens to be outside of the lamestream. Because, like, I mean, even like all of us are reasonably young, and there's a whole nother generation that's, you know, even considerably younger. Always raised with like the Walter Cronkite sort of mentality and stuff, neoliberalism, globalism, and all of these other things, lashing out at it. And it doesn't really matter what way you're lashing out at it, from which direction. It's still a lashing out. So you have people who are considerably further left, and like 20 years ago, they would have been considered absolutely nuts. You've got like the alt-right, you've got libertarianism a la Ron Paul, or even like the Mises Caucus at this point. You've got a million different possible groups of people, and they're all being led or at least guided by thousands and thousands of different people that are making entertaining content as well online. This, by the way, this is, I think, what the legacy media and big tech want to stop the most, because it's entertaining. It's no longer just the crazy dude on the corner who shouts about demons and dragons and weird stuff like that and says that you should embrace some weird methodology. It's people on the internet you can interact with, and they're not crazy. That's the whole point. That's what scares them. The lack of craziness, I think, scares the lamestream more than anything.
But let me ask you, Styx, this always comes up, the sort of, let's say, the evolution of, for just really a loose term, the quote unquote dissident right. What do you think, as someone who still identifies as a libertarian, the various critiques of capitalism from the right as capitalism itself being, or sort of, let's say the neoliberal order, being a generator or at least a jet fuel towards, what we're seeing is just colloquially termed wokeness. What do you feel about the woke capital thesis itself? And also, I mean, I want to talk to Brittany because she's been on a very noble crusade against pornography. So we could also get into that. But really quickly, Styx, before the porn question, the Coomer question, if you will. What do you think of woke capital?
Yeah. I would say that it's not capitalism. I would say that it's a generation away from the concept of actually producing anything. And it's the absence of any productive value. It's essentially an attempt to differentiate one's brand from another competing brand without having to do anything at all. And it's enabled ultimately by central government and the legacy media's propaganda to convince people that it's meaningful. And so in that sense, while it is not technically an offshoot of pure leftism in the centralized sense, it is still an offshoot of ideological leftism more than anything else.
Interesting, because people were mentioning our favorite communist in the chat, Vaush, who went after you recently.
The dude who can't get away from his hate boner for me.
Yeah,
the guy who keeps talking about certain things involving children. Every video clip I ever see of them.
And horses.
Yeah, that's right.
Shout out to Mr. Hands. Shout out to Mr. Hands.
By the way, I'm supposed to justify him at any point with the debate.
Oh my God. But apparently you noticed the sea change with him and the other bread tubers, how and to a more like, I would say, quote unquote highbrow, although I wouldn't say so, with the Chapo people. They all really switched over to just basically shilling for the Democrat Party as soon as the
they wanted to get those super chats in. I would say it's actually very funny though. I think there was a bigger sea change with the anti-SJW YouTubers, especially Venti's old friend Shu, actually among other people.
And Brittany, what do you feel about your old friend Shu on Head? Her change to her holy Saul on the road to Damascus moment,
metamorphosis,
and how Father Vaush has blessed her with his graces. What do you feel about Shu recently, Brittany? Her come to Rosa Luxemburg moment. Put it that way. There you go.
Sad. It's just pandering. I'm just going to say what I've always said. It's just pick-me behavior and pandering and grifting. Because it's pick-me because you're pandering to men for whatever they want. It's being a pick-me because you're doing that. And grifting is like whatever is happening. So it kind of logically makes sense. And she just had her 30th birthday, and everyone knows how men online tend to treat women when they turn 30. So the jig is going to be up soon for her. Her time is kind of limited with being able to pander to men and be able to grift based on politics, never actually going below the surface level, and just sitting on the fence to be able to like jump to the other side whenever she wants. And like, it's just not genuine.
But that's what I mean. Like, it seems that, oh, sorry, love, but it just really quickly, it seems that like you and Styx and others, there's a select few who have stayed the course throughout this whole thing. But I do notice that a lot of those old anti-SJWs, the quote-unquote culture warriors, they have either went to BreadTube. I mean, some of them probably naturally landed upon, the alternative right is pretty much dead, but you know what I mean. Let's call it the dissident right, if you will. But what is it? Just sheer grifting? Like, what motivates people? And I'm sorry, Lev, I cut you off.
Yeah, it's like you're surviving because like if they're banning all the people on the right, and you want to make money, what do? Right. So there's that factor too. And that's why that becomes trendy. And that's why people will grift towards that. So there's definitely a monetary motivation there as well.
But the bootlickers of society, they don't want to get banned. They don't want to have to fight an uphill battle. Even if the glory at the end of that fight is greater, they're not willing to go through the effort ultimately. So they'd rather roll over, and they have their corporate sponsors and play by the rules more or less, and they still pretend to be edgy, even though some of these people, I mean, Christ, they're older than me.
I just think it's damn funny. I think it's damn funny that the guys who hate capitalism the most always have merch for sale, always are willing to accept super chats. Oh, buddy, they love.
Charles, are you telling me you don't want a vouch hat to show off to all of your friends?
I mean, as a prop to wipe my ass on, maybe.
But you know what?
But you know what everybody does need? Everybody needs an official Styxhexenhammer666 mug. Because this is something that is going to purify your coffee every morning. So I'm going to link to the merch section.
when I grift and hawk merchandise, though, it's not actually grifting because I'm a capitalist. So I think that people should pay me for the cup because it's good quality. You can put coffee in it and stuff. I do find it so funny that people who think that everything should be collectivized are still selling stuff low.
But what concerns me even more are not just the online leftist grifters, but a lot of the people who are still on the fence and don't want to say anything that'll get them in trouble. Do you think that there's going to come a point where the level of authoritarianism that we're seeing right now is going to look cute relative to what's going to happen in the future? Or do you think that this is kind of like the high point, and after people are just going to start relaxing, doing other things, going back to the 90s like Tim Dillon was talking about, where people just completely left off politics and were doing other things? Like, if you had a crystal ball, I know you have a crystal brain, but if you had a crystal ball, where do you think a lot of this stuff is going to go? And I'm going to do super chat soon as well.
Me or Brittany?
Yes, you and then Brittany.
Okay. See, she's literally got a crystal ball. So.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I would say it's impossible to tell. We could be going through a transformative stage that's temporary. Like I've talked about the paradigm shift within politics. My hope is that transfers over to culture and people let that shtick go. If it does get more authoritarian, what I warned of years ago will come true, which is that people like us, basically everyone on this call, we're close to the cutting edge at this point because everyone that was more edgy has already been banned or at least demonetized and depersoned to some degree. That's why I'm betting on new tech, because there's literally nothing else to bet on. Now, in longer terms, I think eventually that sort of anti-free speech mentality falls by the wayside, but it could take a very, very long time. And a lot of people, they can't weather that because that's where their income is. They're going to have to flip burgers for years.
And are you guys tired? Are you guys tired of being bored? Like, you just go on YouTube, there's nothing to watch. I feel like at some point, collectively, everyone has to get really tired of being bored. I'm at that point.
Well, I think this is why they're stupefying people. Like, if you, Styx, are you familiar with Humans a Flat by any chance? Have you ever heard of that concept?
No.
Okay, so Humans a Flat, this is a Twitter account that was created by our good friend Eli Schiff, where if you ever look at advertisements, I'm sure there are some in your neck of the woods right now, but it's like these blob people.
Yeah.
It's like blob people here. I'll show you some examples, but it's like these blob people with small heads and large bodies who are all like different colors and ambiguous as far as their gender goes.
Oh, I have an example that YouTube actually has, but it's basically the aesthetic, the main aesthetic of the corporatocracy, if you will. And it relates.
So it's almost like the Mucinex commercial, the Phlegm family that wants to sell you
the GitHub.
Mucinex.
Yeah, it's the predominant aesthetic of the.
There we go.
Yeah, the like woke
people
corporate...
beyond gender, beyond sexuality.
It comes a lot from like mid-century modernism and fauvism, like Henri Matisse. But it's basically like this is what the picture that the Great Reset people.
Oh, that guy with the beard has some big knockers.
But the reason why I bring this up is I think that it has a certain degree of an effect on making people stupider. I'm not saying this is directly responsible for it, but it seems like if everybody on Twitter who's like, well, not everybody, but if a lot of people on Twitter have the pronouns, have all of these hashtag BLM or whatever, at a certain point, they represent this group identity, and they're not really adding anything to the discussion of worth. And in a way, I feel like it saps energy from people and just makes them more into these robots, NPCs, whatever you want to call it. But I also wonder, like, back in the day, since Styx, I know that you're a big fan of history, back in the day, there used to be a lot of people who just lived off the land, and they also maybe, you know, they were aware of certain things having to do with the climate and all that, but it's not like they were reading Shakespeare, you know, like they were very simple people. So do you think that people today with all the access to information have gone, you know, have evolved or devolved, to put it simply?
I think, well, it's both. There's no such thing as evolution. It's not one directional. It depends on stimuli. What I would say is that it reminds me most of like the early 20th century with the anarchist art, Dadaism, but you know, early postmodernism in the sense that it was then, and all of the weird stuff that happened, including in politics. People think that bomb throwing leftists are a new thing. Bomb throwing anarchists and socialists and stuff, at least in the United States, peaked in the 1910s. That we've already gone through this sort of thing before. There's nothing new under the sun at this point. It's just the internet blurs that line between different periods of time, I think. And so right now, we're not really in a time period so much as a mashup of every prior time period. So you have some people that they literally want to go back to like a Roman city-state. Some people, they're like, well, I think it should be great if we had swing music again. Let's be like 1922. And then some people like, we want neon lights in the 80s. We want long hair in the 70s. We want hippiedom. And everyone's gone completely nuts, although it is kind of interesting because at least you get good music.
It's really the Frederick Jameson like postmodernism, logic of late capitalism. Like eventually eclecticism becomes what Sloterdijk called like the age of foam. Like everyone's in their like little micro bubble. But Brittany, you also had a video recently about how the internet has changed. And like as the corporations have rolled in, it seems that culture itself is becoming like severely flattened. And like we can't, you know, for example, my good friend Charles here keeps getting banned from memes. I mean, come on. But,
well, you know, it's just a guy who happens to have the same name as me and was using a similar Ninja Turtle avatar. Mine's totally different from that guy.
Different.
Mine has the rainbow flag. Totally different guy. And he just happened to post memes in a similar way that I do every hour on the hour. And would dunk on celebrities and say salacious things to e-celebs. You know, once got retweeted by Ice Cube. That was a fun one. I'm sure Styx would love that one. Ice Cube had some people that he wanted killed for being racist. And so I gave him the names: Hugh Janus, Felter Snatch Up, Pussy Came In. And Ice Cube retweeted them asking who do what.
Well, my personal favorite would be Harry McCracken.
Ah, yes, Harry McCracken.
What about Mike Hunt?
Yeah, Mike Hunt.
Litteris.
Bend over.
Amanda
Bend
Hunt.
over.
Oh, wait,
well-known racist Bend over.
I screwed up. It's not Harry McCracken. It's Phil McCracken.
You know who's the worst one, but you can never find her, is Cleo Torres. If you can find her, she's
I still
want to
find
one.
Amanda Hugging Kiss. Oh, man. But Brittany, what will we talk? Yes, culture and the internet and how
well, Brittany is a product of like Brittany in a way is an egregore as well, because there's like a Brittany Venti that people know personally, but then there's
some
Brittany
kind of
Venti.
abstraction. There's
there's
nothing
the social mask, the character, the cartoon character of Brittany Venti.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that back in the day, as you were saying, he was getting banned for memes. That wouldn't have happened because he would have just had his own website to have said memes on.
Yeah.
And then nothing would have been done about it generally because it's not really causing harm to anybody. So now that everything is like condensed into like 10 different platforms, now it's like the same people have the control, so they can just collectively ban one person at a time, like all at once, like they did for I think Alex Jones, a few others they do that for.
They just completely deplatform somebody. They
and they all agree to do it. So there's no like alternative that's like viable that people actually go to and you get traffic from. Unless you're a special case like Alex Jones, where his website actually does do that.
See, that's why Styx is the main man, because he's been pushing BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, all these alternatives. Like don't think of them as this Wild West outlaw platforms. These are places that are viable alternatives. That's what alt tech means to me. Alternative.
It's taken years, but yeah, finally I think they've broken through to some extent at this point. Where
even
now
the Daily Motion still at it. Like they've been a competitor for YouTube for what, since like 2006, 2007. Like they've been there the whole time.
With the idea of Odyssey, I think like my personal YouTube, Giant Productions at youtube.com. My personal YouTube, I use Odyssey as a backup because the idea of it being on a blockchain, to me, I think is it's vital. And why didn't people think of it before when crypto was getting, because you literally can't remove those videos from the sands of the digital aether, if you will. But yeah, sorry, Brittany, we cut you off.
I want to wrap it up by saying that because of the condensing and of everything and not having individual websites anymore people go to, it's kind of like watered down the culture because it's very creatively restricting as well. Like before, when I was a kid, when I was like 12, people knew how to, like, if you were a kid that's on the computer, you knew how to code to some degree, like creating your own website, like that was normal. And now it's like, I scroll on TikTok, I mean, there's some creative things on TikTok you can do for content, but my point is that it's literally like brain dead content. And it's not as interactive or interesting or funny anymore. It kind of lost its like personality. I think the internet lost its personality.
Part of that is just its aging, but does anyone here think that maybe part of it has to do with the fact, like I was earlier today, I was out and I got a moment of clarity because like I can remember back when I was young, like long ago at this point, and the idea of smartphones was like the joke was like there'd be some teenager sitting there on their smartphone and all the adults are like, oh, they're wasting their time. You could be reading a book, you could be going for a walk, you could be doing basically anything else. And then you go out now and you see a bunch of people who are 60, 70, 80 years old and they're on smartphones. Literally everywhere they go, they're driving down the street, practically checking their phones. And I'm wondering if that particular mentality, the entrance of people over, let's say 65, into the internet arena has spurred some of the problems that we're seeing.
Well, I mean,
so
look at
the
Facebook.
internet was
Facebook's
literally ruined
done.
by smartphones. Like literally that's why, because smartphones made it so that anybody could access. Before it was like, oh, only weird people have computers and go on the internet. But then the normies got their phones and ruined the whole fucking internet.
Yeah, like literally Facebook initially was literally just college kids. You had to, it was invite only. And then they opened it up and it ruined the platform.
Well, and even the college kids wasn't as great as maybe it was before, with only the select few who knew how to jump over the gates, because it requires a certain amount of pressure to do that. While now it's open to everybody. I mean, it kind of reminds me of that saying from what was that? Hold on, being so embarrassed right now. So not Socrates. So Socrates talked about how he lamented the invention of writing because now people wouldn't be able to hold as much stuff in their head. And then I think of people like Giordano Bruno, who developed a whole system, as you probably know, Styx, of memorizing things inside of their head. And it seems to me like with all the new advances that we have in terms of tech, the less willpower people can exert upon their environment. And again, this could be a little bit of a hippy-dippy thing for me to say, and for those who are already BTR regulars are used to it by now, I generally think that there is something to the idea of changing one's reality through the power of one's will, and now it seems like people are being sapped of that. And Brittany, you know a certain person too, a certain writer that you subscribe to who talks about that as well, right?
Oh, I know about manifestation from Neville Goddard and then other people who teach based on his teachings.
So I know, Styx, have you ever taken a look at Neville Goddard's work?
No, I have not.
You should.
I was gonna say briefly though. Actually, Kaczynski literally warned of this.
Yes, that's true.
the tragic irony that we're currently talking on the internet about the downfall of the internet and society because of the internet. And agreeing with Ted Kaczynski.
It's true.
Every day he's proved more right.
But we never had a chance like this before, where we have something that connects us, yet it's also very seductive to people to just sit down and just watch videos all day and not move a muscle.
Well,
so in a way, it's like anybody from the past, if you were to transport them now, they'd be like, holy shit, you have the ability to get all this information, all these books from this thing, and yet you people are sitting down just watching bullshit all the time.
That's something that to Venti's point about being bored. Is I often feel overwhelmed. I go, oh my God, Jesus, God and baby Jesus. I have access to all human information and knowledge in my pocket
literally
at every single moment, all day. And if I'm not paying attention, if I'm not listening to every podcast and everybody's YouTube video and being like, I wished, I often go back to this $1 Million Man, the wrestler quote about, I wish that I hated somebody that because somebody who hates you will watch every single thing that you're doing and with under a microscope. But just because I like somebody, it's like, well, I like them. I'll tune in when they come into town. But somebody who hates you is going to go out of their way to go see the pay-per-view where the bad guy wrestler gets whooped. They just
I'm sure Brittany has a lot of.
They're going to pay for that Starrcade episode. Yeah.
Yes. You got to see Jim Cornette get his from the Road Warriors.
But it's funny because, and even to an extent, McLuhan talked about that in Gutenberg Galaxy, how it was going to like mass literacy in a way, like shaves off certain other human abilities. But also it's funny how one of my favorite video artists of all time, one of my favorite artists, his name was Nobody TM. And he talked about, I say it was a group of people, but the head editor said that, the internet was going to slowly be corralled as various corporate and government NGO forces move in and make it quote unquote neater and more sanitary for the average people within a model of consumerism. But it goes beyond that because in a way you could see how the internet has such a seductive power. It almost is, I mean, this is again, another hippie out there theory. And Styx, your book actually has talked a little bit about this. There's this great video that was reviewing your book by a content creator. His name is Chad Haig, who was a philosophy PhD, but he left academia to move to India, and he has an excellent YouTube channel. He has all these books. One of them is called Being in Oil. Another one, ironically enough, is called The Philosophy of Ted Kaczynski.
Oh my.
Yeah, and he has an excellent video that came out a week ago about your theories on occultism and memetics. And I think that I wanted to get your general thoughts, but also Brittany, because both of you have, and Charles as well, has huge sort of impact on meme culture. But it seems that the memetics are working in such, there's the video for people that want to check it out. I love Chad Haig, been watching him since 2013 with his original YouTube channel before he left. But it seems that memetics have such a potential and such a subversive force. But yet when it comes to, I think TikTok is the apotheosis of this, even more than Instagram. It seems that as the quote unquote normies are entering digital spaces, that the memetics themselves are in a strange way being colonized by these various forces of governments and corporations. And, I mean, on the right, we all talk about how the glowies are, creating different memes as honeypots, but that idea isn't far. When you look at the history of intelligence agencies and their experience, for example, with Operation Stargate, it's probably not far from the truth that they're probably studying our memes and finding, I know corporations, for instance, like
look at Arby's. Yeah. Arby's is all over memes on their Twitter account. They'll do like little origami things.
Wendy's has done the same.
All these companies.
But
they
all
want to have the sassy Twitter.
It's explicit that they study memes. Like the idea, this is hysterical, that one of us can draw up a stick figure cartoon, pop it on 4chan, and then it ends up on a CIA database is literally true. I mean, we've definitely gone around the deep end at this point. I think that the chaos, though, is the fun part. Like, I don't see any problem with that. Okay, maybe we're all going to hell. At least we're having fun on the way.
Oh,
well, speaking of going to hell, that's the other thing I wanted to bring up.
As a traditional Catholic, I disavow that statement, Styx.
A little bit later, we're going to say that.
We're going to do what we're going to do.
Yes, exactly.
We're all
going to say that
damned.
for the end.
I think Brittany is probably on a database. She was at the He Will Not Divide Us rally and got arrested.
I guarantee all of us are on some sort of radar.
Yes. But what I wanted to get to here was a bit of butting of heads, perhaps, maybe, when it comes to libertarianism. So, Styx, I've followed you a long time. I happen to agree with many of the things you're talking about, to the chagrin of some of the people in the chat who think that it's cringe, because I think that they look towards something like libertarianism as being something that allowed for all of these things that we're currently experiencing, all of these abuses to go on. And I'm curious what would be your retort to that? Or even before, like Gio, would you be able to sum it up, what I'm talking about here, better?
Yeah, well, basically the criticism is that libertarianism, in a lot of ways, basically gives power to the very people that we're fighting, because there is no incentive structure to really clamp down on very harmful social ideological antigens, and that the libertarians have in some ways been a useful foil for quote unquote woke capital and other things of that nature. And that libertarianism itself has sort of seen an eclipse because, and I was there too. I was a pretty big Ron Paul person. I was back in the day, but it seems that as time went on, the libertarians were just as eager to join the neocons, ironically enough, in during the Trump years, in sort of cementing themselves as a useful foil for power. And I know, for instance, but that was probably due to other things, such as people like certain people, Kathy Rieswitz, destroying libertarianism from within. But I don't know, Styx, what do you seem to hold firm with still being a libertarian. Why can't you join us on the dissident right to embrace a form of right-wing anti-capitalism? I don't know.
I'm a good capitalist because I like to make money by my own efforts. But here, what I would say is, first and foremost, that's a little bit of a straw man. Because a lot of the abuse that people are actually seeing, it wasn't created by a free market. Silicon Valley is not a free market. The companies that comprise the big tech firms get subsidies from California. They get differential treatment under 230. We see the SEC right now headhunting after Odyssey, but where was the SEC to headhunt after Facebook when they tried to develop their own cryptocurrency to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars? Differential enforcement by big government is the problem. The government is the problem. In the absence of a big government, monopolies cannot form in the same way. Look even back at the early wave of monopolism in US history. Most people don't realize this. If we look at the Gilded Age, the rail and coal and steel monopolies that formed, they were formed by carpetbaggers, government officials. They're the ones that enabled the police to bash one group of people and ignore the other.
And the Pinkertons and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Tammany Hall and all this stuff. Even before that, the government was the problem. They're the ones that created the monopolies. Monopolies don't just generically form in and of their own accord, because there will always be a competitor. As soon as a competitor has a better idea, unless the government is allowing that group to attack the competitor, or the government's attacking the competitor directly, there will be no more monopoly. They'll have to innovate. It drives costs down, it drives wages up, it innovates things. This is the key to capitalism, and it's the key to all progress in the world that's ever happened.
But would you say that the sort of divide that libertarians set up between the quote unquote free market and quote unquote government forces, that nowadays this becomes severely complicated and we really can't distinguish between the two, especially when it comes to Silicon Valley? For example, the whole their private companies argument. I mean, they basically take orders from governments. So I don't know.
I'd partially agree. So reduce the government and prevent it from doing that, and you've solved the problem. But the problem is not solved by saying, well, liberty bad, free market bad, let's be communists. That'll make the problem worse. We've already seen the results of that, because we've already got a historical backdrop of communism and socialism to actually look at and see what happens. In the absence of a free market, it's worse. The problem is that the so-called free market, the faux free market, we'll call it, is doing the same things that a non-free market system would otherwise do that would be abusive. So while the communist will censor you directly, the Gestapo, the KGB, whatever, they come and they drag you off. Now you get depersoned by a company, but the company's been enabled to do that. The only reason that they have enough of a monopoly to do that is because of the government. It's essentially just a constitutional workaround. It's a straw man against libertarianism to proclaim that that's a problem with the free market or with a libertarian society.
Well, maybe not so much the free market, if I were to be a devil's advocate over here, even though I, again, agree with you on this position. I think what people are looking at is a relative weakness that they perceive today, where people become too easily pushed over by forces that wouldn't play by their rules. And as far as how to fix something like that, they look at something like liberalism in general, just the idea of everybody gets to have a say and so on and so forth. We're not going to exclude anybody, where I am great and noble, I play by these rules, but then there are going to be people who are going to abuse that, and they're going to be the ones who are just going to hurl doo-doo at everybody else. And all these nice people are just going to look back and say, well, I'm going to keep being honorable and noble and play by the rules. So what exactly would be the solution to that problem, which I think people are seeing today?
Of individuals that are corrupt, I would say it's better to have a corrupt individual than a corrupt system.
I agree. I mean, I don't know, like, Gio, would you have any pushback when it comes to this softening that I was talking about? That a lot of people, like, I want to basically channel all the people who have given all these complaints into your body at this moment, Gio, so you become possessed by them and try to give as best as you can, because this is really like the crux of the argument here.
I think it really does boil down to the argument that there are certain accelerative forces of capitalism inherently within it as a it is kind of, I know it's, crazy as this sounds, it is kind of true what Marx said about the quote where he said, all that is solid melts into air. It's just sort of as this profit incentive keeps churning on and on, it seems that other sort of more intangible values that people hold dear, that the real culprit of their destruction is this system that promotes a certain picture of the human being, like Homo economicus as being an economic actor and nothing more, that itself is the problem more than any sort of government legislating. It's sort of like the discourse with critical race theory. It is true, it is good that people are fighting back and they want to ban it, but at the same time, it's like the counterpoint of, well, it's, wokeness, it's Marxist and all of that. I mean, if it's Marxist, then why is every single corporation changing their avatars during a certain, during the June month? I guess now you have to include the black and the brown banner with it, because
we can't have any companies being racist.
I can answer that last part. It's because those corporations are literally created by socialism. The government has enabled them to exist in their monopolistic form, and so now they're just grifting. Capitalism would be they develop a better product, they develop a cheaper service. Socialism is they don't need to do that. All they have to do is fool the lemmings.
I could see that, yeah. But well, I'm just saying, like, the logic, like the logic of capitalism itself is not conducive to any, let's just really simplistically call it, traditional values, because those values itself get in the way of like a mass consumerist society. But then Styx, you would say that's not necessarily.
Mass consumerist society is separate from the concept of simply being able to work and derive some sort of productivity from that work and expect it not to be robbed.
True.
Under capitalism, the competition is a good tradition. And the United States used to understand that and then reaped great rewards from it. And now we say that competition is a bad thing. Everyone should get a participation trophy, and look where that's gotten us.
Competition kicks ass. Being able to point to somebody else and go, this guy's my rival and he's a piece of shit and he ain't as good as me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it also comes down to here.
Yeah, but what happens?
That's the American way, brother.
What happens when there's a monopoly? What happens when there's the superpowers, right? The mega powers, and then during what was it, War Games 3, where Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan, they basically just cleared the whole field. Was it War Games 3 or War Games 4? Like, what happens when that happens? When they're guys at the top, the clique, they're they have control over the booking decisions. What's gonna happen?
Well, then you've got to be the cream that rises to the crop, brother. Nothing means nothing.
You gotta be Sting.
Yeah, you've got to be an enigmatic character.
Savage? Randy Savage.
No, Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan, they had a monopoly over the booking when they were the mega powers. And there was War Games 3 where they beat like 15 different.
I don't know what you people
you
are
have to be an
about.
enigmatic character and stand above the rest. You have to be charismatic. You have to work. That's the thing. To rise to the top at that point, Dankula used to say this, that there's a certain type of content creator that are playing YouTube hard mode, and because they're not promoted, their notifications are just buried, they're just not there, they're demonetized, so they're playing.
Shout out to BTR.
Everything they're doing is
literally everyone on this call at the moment.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle, and I'm not going to take that uphill battle easily. I'm going to fight 10 times harder. The more I get banned, the more I get demonetized, the more I get told, oh, Charles, you went too far. That's too much. What have you done? You can't say that. The more I'm going to say it, the harder I'm going to go.
I just heard in the chat, Brittany, you hate pro wrestling? What?
No, I actually have a lot of viewers that really like it. But it was a meme that I would rage at John Cena.
That's true.
Well,
he ruined it.
That's pretty acceptable. That's all right. But what I wanted to get to, because we only have around 15 minutes with Styx, because I know you have a hard out. I wanted to get to. Yes, touch on the occult as well as touch on religion. And by the way, speaking of the occult, we have Alexander Polyakov joining us over here with her horns. I don't know if you're a cow or a demon. I don't know which. Both. Okay, great. And welcome, Alexandra. Now, what I wanted to get to is I think the point that Gio was talking about is how people, without having some kind of a religion, some kind of an organizing structure that talks about something higher, which I think you personally also have in your life, without that, of course, they're just going to become these blob people who are going to worship whatever the media tells them to worship as a default religion. And that's the other concern here, like, without having this kind of religion for most people, what are they going to do? But also, I wanted to touch on your personal convictions when it comes to what you consider to be out there, because you talked about having a personal daimon, a connection with certain things that, let's say, more mainstream scientists will never acknowledge, if that's the right way you say it. And you've seen, in a way, a version of hell when you had that drug overdose incident with the fake weed. So I am curious where you stand on what exactly is out there, but also how the masses can go forward without having this particular religious framework that they used to, without just being completely degenerated over time.
Oh, and also the psychedelics question. And I also later on want to grill Brittany on extremely online Catholics. But go ahead, Styx.
I figured you were talking to me with regards to the dope overdose. That did happen. I do believe in demons after a general sense. What I would say is that really, like, in my own personal path, I look at all forms of spirituality, study them all, but that is sort of, at some point, the spirituality. It's not a single path that's been prescribed by some other person, like a priest or a rabbi or an imam or something. And I think that's something people should rally around, but it takes a great deal of effort. Prepackaged religion is for the masses. And non-prepackaged religion, or lack of religion and just spiritual belief, I think is for people who have more time, honestly, and also potentially more ambition, because I mean, they're not going to be happy with just, okay, here's the one book you're supposed to read for the rest of your life.
Well, Gio, Styx just said being in the occult is high IQ.
Not necessarily high IQ. But not necessarily. I've met people that are involved with the occult that are, not necessarily so, but they do have an interest in learning more about, like, different spiritual systems and things attendant. Like, a lot of the things that I edit at this point for my occult work, they're not about like black magic or anything like that. A lot of it has to do with history. A lot of it has to do with philosophy, folk medicine, fascinating subjects that aren't technically themselves anything to do with even the superstitious, but they're all attendant. They're part of this nexus of spirituality that I find fascinating. And so I've sort of made that my long-term goal.
Well, like you were saying,
the argument, I think, a counter argument. Oh, sorry, Lev, I cut you off.
No, go for it, buddy.
No, a counter argument would be that and having been also a student of perennialism and the works of Jung way before Peterson came on the scene, the counter argument would be that this sort of spiritual eclecticism is not conducive to like the building or the maintaining of a civilization that needs a pretty solid meta narrative. For instance, I mean, Styx, you're pretty much canceled, so I might as well. But one of my favorite perennialists is this guy right here, Julius Evola. I highly recommend Ride the Tiger, by the way. Oh boy. But what would you say to that argument about the West is predisposed to certain Christian narratives, and maybe a reconquista of those narratives would be more beneficial than not to most people? And I noticed like I think maybe you've softened your opinion on Christianity over the years. I don't know.
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not antagonistic towards Judeo-Christians as much anymore. But
don't use that term, Judeo-Christian. Bullshit.
Yeah.
She's coming in, and Alexander's coming at it from the
brother.
Judeo side, by the way.
This is breaking the rules. Say anything you want.
I still disagree with the essential premise. What I would say is that a society takes both groups of people. Some people need something prescribed. They literally don't have time in the day or necessarily a desire to study anything particularly spiritual, but they may still have that organizational need. Other people don't have a particular feeling for that need, and for them, there's something else. I don't see that as a problem. I don't have any problem with 1,000 different people having 1,000 different overall paths that they follow, because ultimately they're going to be drawn to what they want to follow anyway. Even if everyone had one religion, they would interpret it different ways based on the way in which they live their lives, the sub-beliefs that they have, and so forth.
Yeah, like just look at Christianity, right? Like people try to find loopholes all the time. You see like pro-gay churches, and it's like, do you not know your own book? You're just like,
everybody will invent.
That's all heretical. It's all heretical.
Hate one another.
Get it out.
Well, those priests who are dancing on TikTok, they almost seem like robots to me. They don't seem like real human beings. I don't know. There's something off about them.
The one guy that said that Jesus was racist, that guy looks like an AI generated.
But to push back a little bit on you, Styx, when it comes to this video you did way back in the day about Freemasonry, where you were talking about it being the deification of man, my one issue with that is, and I know Gio's not a big fan of Gnosticism, but in general, the idea of attaining wisdom through the process of...
I hate the Antichrist, by the way. Antichrist.
Meditation and all that stuff. I see that as a positive, but my concern is that there are some people out there who would take the deification of man to mean the deification of me and my friends as we currently are, as opposed to a level that we can get to later on. And some people, let's say, who are more tinfoil minded would say, well, these are the people who are responsible for all the bad shit that's going on, because they know how to manipulate reality, even if we're not using the magical term, even if we're just talking about, through propaganda, through media, and they're using it, but they're not uplifting themselves to a higher spiritual level so that the results of what they do is actually going to bear fruit for the good, as opposed to, hurting people and all that. So I'm curious where you personally stand on that kind of like abuse of power angle that people complain about.
I would say that's literally, even in the absence of religion existing at all, there would still be abuse of power, and there'd still be people drawn to that abuse, and there would still be people drawn to organizations that abuse power. It's unavoidable. It's part of humanity. And so it really doesn't make any difference overall, whether it's, the Freemasons or some satanic organization or the Catholic Church with little kids. Ultimately, at the end of the day, people are going to gravitate towards things that enable, or at least make excuses for, their own perversions and proclivities.
I just want to say that, because Styx just said the Catholics and children, I just want to point out that I think that they really get the bad end of the stick for that, because every religion abuses children because they're in a position of authority. Like there's even rituals in certain religions where they suck the little baby's penis. So that's kind of child abuse.
Don't mention it for YouTube purposes, but statistically the government has abused more children in foster care than any other ones. But before you go, Styx, I guess Lev, if you could shill the Patreon at the minus $30. I did this at the $30
first over here. Okay, this is definitely legit. He is technically not on Twitter anymore, but look at him.
Wait, what happened to him on Twitter?
Just woke madness.
Bark. Woof, woof, woof.
So he got banned from Twitter?
No, he just decided not to do it anymore. But anyway, hello, boys and girls. I'm definitely legit. Bark, 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 bark.
Love's father makes these magnets.
Yes, my father creates these beautiful magnets. This one's made out of cherry. They are made out of great quality wood. So patreon.com/breaktherules. For a $5 patronage, you are going to get secret areas in our Discord. You are also going to get the ability to post in the BTR chat with an avatar instead of just posting in YouTube chat. And you are also going to get audio only, the audio versions of all the episodes that come out way earlier before the rest of the masses do. For $20 patronage, you're going to get these absolutely beautiful magnets every year as long as you keep being a patron. And for $30, you are going to get, in addition to all that, Gio's absolutely beautiful print.
Here, I have the pictures.
Here's the print in action. Wait, hold on.
I don't know if you could see my easel back there, but I'm an artist and a printmaker, and these are woodblock prints. I have you can get one of the 5 I'll send you at random from what I call the That Feel When No GF series, where I did these Wojak figures from traditional Japanese woodblock printmaking. Here's 2 of them. Yeah, that's the crying one.
Oh my god!
And what I wanted to show.
God, I love
That's pretty good.
What I wanted to show Styx, one of my best friends is also a very brilliant portrait artist. Shout out to Matthew the Stout on Twitter. He did this one of you, Styx. So my buddy Matthew,
I gotta see this.
Yeah, he drew you, and this is his.
Always
I think
fun
he added
becoming
you
a meme.
once.
Oh wow!
Oh yes, I've actually I have seen that. I actually have it saved.
God.
So shout out to my friend Matthew the Stout on Twitter. He's a very good friend of the show as well. He's
that was definitely one of my favorites.
I really like Catholic art. Actually.
I have to draw you, Styx. I think I should do a print. I should do a wood engraving of Styxhexenhammer.
I would love a wooden engraving.
Yeah.
We're not done yet. We're not done yet.
So that's the $30 tier. Also, you could DM me if you want one of the woodblock prints on giantgeo@twitter.com. So
okay, so $50 is going to get
mega
you all of
power
the above.
Tier.
Yes, all of the above, plus another beautiful painting from Gio from the Bob Ross School. And you are also going to get a completely custom wooden magnet. My father is going to make whatever you want, within limits, of course, whatever you want.
Even sexual ones if you want.
Well,
no, maybe
have
not.
An inflated lioness. Like an inflated lioness.
Oh, no.
Okay,
oh, no.
Anyway, and you're also going to get from Jules, he's going to paint the beautiful figures from Warhammer 40k, those figures, and he's going to send those to you as well.
And you will get a poster print of any of the episodes because Lev and his father animate, because Lev was an animator. They do all of our buffer images. You will get a poster print of any image. So if you want a poster print of this stream with Styxhexenhammer and Brittany Venti, if you want to, we had a sewing discourse with Brittany. If you want a poster print for your room of Brittany Venti, I'm not going to say what you're going to do with that poster.
Oh, God.
There's some sickos that follow Brittany out there. But if you want one at the $50 tier, we will print one out for you. So if you want a poster of Brittany Venti or Styx or all of our other great guests, you can get one at the $50 tier.
Making me feel like a prostitute.
Oh no!
We're all prostitutes here. If you've been on BTR, you are a whore. That's just the rules. Every
good
single
feeling.
one of us.
Feels good.
Sorry, Styx. Sorry, Styx.
It's true.
Yeah,
By the way, the last question, Styx, I guess would be a meme.
Oh, and then SuperChat.
Oh yeah. What do you feel about the porn OnlyFans question? What do you feel about its social
I
influence?
think it's always existed and always will. That doesn't make it less regrettable in some cases. As far as OnlyFans, though, I mean, that's just a venture that's begging to collapse at some point.
Yeah, they're saying that they're going to try to shy away from lewd content, is what the press release said. Lewd content. That was going around the other day.
No, I don't think they'll be around in their current form for even another full year, probably. To tell the truth.
By the way, we just got a $5 patronage from Dora. Dora, I guess the Explorer, I don't know. Well, you're exploring BTR right now, and I'm so thankful for you doing that. We are the #1 most underrated, greatest live stream of all time. We have had Frank Hassel. We have had Charles Carroll of MDE fame. We have had so many amazing guests.
Professors, philosophers.
our basic thing, by the way,
literal schizophrenic weirdos.
Yes, but anyway, onto the super chats. So Sebastian Monroe, $2, love the show, here to clank. Hicks&Hammer, $5, request for Styx. Could you tell these people once and for all that you and I are not the same person? Unless we are, then never mind. We have a super chat from no one. Clank, epic per usual. Just Judge Holden, $2. Shout out to Styx for publishing Hermeticum Cabalion. Yeah, it's a good one.
Oh yeah, the Cabalion, yeah.
Matthew Hammond, $4.99. Styx, no cotton skyscraper video today was great. I agree. Hope we get more.
Yeah, that was a great. Yeah, it's the whole thing. Like, people, they actually believe that like everyone in America had the bucks, you know, and that they were just like, what was it, like 2% of the southern population of the Confederacy actually owned the bucks, or
yeah, it was a few tens of thousands of people. I mean, if they wanted to complain, they should look at the Caribbean or Brazil.
Yeah,
Well, or the Arab trade that was going on at the time.
Still goes on nowadays.
Still kind of does.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bad part of the world.
I think there's an important question that nobody asked about, that I kind of wanted to ask about McAfee, what Styx thought of that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What do you think of his murder?
He did not kill himself.
No.
In a nutshell.
No. I think he got smuggled out of prison. Like, he had the right connections. Him and Epstein both got smuggled out.
Do you think they're still alive somewhere out there?
Are they with Tupac? Are they with Tupac?
Well, that profile photo of Epstein did not really look like him. Like, the ear was different, but I'm not going to get into that. Okay, we have Matthew Hammond, $4.99. Oh, yeah, we had that. Sebastian Monroe, $5. There are people in the chat who believed Crowder dodged Sam Cedar when it was Ethan Klein who dodged Crowder. Also,
that's
Ethan
what it was.
Ethan screwed Ethan.
Wait, one last thing.
Of shit. Oh,
Ethan
sorry.
Hold on.
He'll ban us.
Hold on. Ethan became a water sports fan. Apparently. Okay. So next one over here. Pagan Libertarian Milady donated $2. Well, I'm going to say it globo-homogenous art. I'm not going to say exactly how he said it just because
I'm going to release a video on my personal YouTube channel in a few days on that particular image, but I had to, because my YouTube's mostly for art criticism, and I have to be very careful with saying it's a global homogeneous. But anyways, go.
Yes. Anyway, okay. We have Nico donated ARS50, which I think is Argentinian dollars equivalent to 6. Still great though. Thank you. Who says the real critique of libertarians is you keep losing wars. How can a libertarian society defeat the Chinese spy network? It will be a massacre. So I know you got to go, Styx, but any quick response to that, like one sentence or whatever?
I'm not really worried about a bunch of communists who haven't developed a first world navy. So
there we go. Dorian Gray, $9.99. I am just here to simp my Venti and a new snazzy looking cow lady. There we go.
Snazzy? Wait, Nazi?
No,
snazzy.
Snazzy. Oh, thank you. I like to think I'm on the.
Yes, everybody follow Alexandra again. Porco. She just has like a couple of hundred subscribers on her Twitter, and that's it. So you gotta raise that up. Anyway, Emmanuel Gregor, 1111. Lev, could you set up a chat with Styx, meme analysis, and Jonathan Peugeot about memetic and spiritual warfare?
Ooh, that'd be an idea.
Yeah, Styx, any memes to keep an
panel.
Any memes to keep an eye on this year. So yeah, Styx, I would absolutely love for you to come back on the BTR stream at a later date. And
as long as I can rant about log posting.
There you go.
And any meme to watch for this year, something that's on the up and up.
I'll always look for the revival of Pepe to see the direction of politics.
There we go.
There we go. And last one over here, Media Bear, $4.99, digging the show. So guys, thank you so much for the super chats, and Styx, you are incredible. I've been a big fan for a very long time. I look forward to having you back again, and just keep doing what you're doing right now, because you are one of the few shining lights, along with Brittany Venti and along with BTR, I might add, that are actually going to make a difference in this world. Oh, 549 euros. Styx, thoughts on the Great Reset? Is it time for me to leave Europe? He's in Portugal, and head back to South America to have a farm in Uruguay. I'm Brazilian. So I know we could save it for later if you want to answer
No, probably. Well, disclaimer, not official advice, but Uruguay sounds better than being in Barcelona or wherever.
There we go. All right, so Styx, once again, thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate this. And guys, if you are not buying Styx merchandise, I don't know what the hell you're doing with your life. Styx is an amazing, prolific YouTuber, but he is also a capitalist in the true sense of the word. So guys, just go to his YouTube, go to his merch area over here. You can buy t-shirts.
That's not released yet. The merch link is not live for a day or two.
Okay, well, when it is going to be live, go there. And, of course, follow Styx on YouTube, which I am very... I can't even say that with a straight face. Follow Styx on YouTube, honestly.
Yeah, you really want to follow him on BitChute, on Rumble, on Odyssey, Minds. You want to see all the real shit.
Yes.
That's what you want.
Daily Motion. Bring it back to 2001 tech.
Exactly. So, once again, thank you very much. And, $5 for Brittany's opinion on the fairest election of the most popular president of all time. Okay, we got to be real careful when we talk about that right now. So
it was the Argentinian election.
You really like Donald Trump that much? It was the most popular president ever? The real president?
Yes, indeed. Okay, so anyway, Styx, once again, thank you so much, and we are going to have a bit of a... Brittany, if you'd like to stick around for a bit, we're going to have a bit of BTR after hours, and...
a denouement?
Yes, exactly. Everybody subscribe, Patreon, follow me on Twitter as well, twitter.com/levpo. I write a lot about my dreams, I post artwork, animation, and also one other thing...
follow my Twitter as well,
yes, absolutely.
Twitter.com.
And one last thing, mask_bastard for memes and more memes.
And also follow Brittany Venti.
I love Mass Bastard's account. It's so funny. I repost this shit all the time.
And if an attractive woman likes someone's account, you know it's good.
Exactly. Exactly.
Absolutely. Oh, and also we are going to have a stream that's happening on Thursday, and we are going to have that. 1 second, let me find where it is. Hold on.
Here, Lev, I got to bow out, my dude.
All right. Yep. All right, Styx.
I'm gonna give everyone here a peace out though first.
Oh yeah, it's been great. That's about all.
Please come again.
God fucking speed.
All right,
I really like that
Styx.
guy. Like he was so much cooler. Like I knew he would be cool. So much cooler. Like actually talking to the dude.
Yeah, he's very different when you're talking to him like live. And it's not like he's a very fun guy.
Yeah.
Which you feel like he's very intense in his videos. But here it's
I was a little worried. I was a little worried he'd come on and just be like very serious and
See, I had a feeling the opposite. I thought he was gonna come on and be loose and want to hang and hold court with the boys. And he did in a way that I really liked. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, and by the way, everybody who is listening to this right now, we are going to have a stream on Thursday. For all those who don't know, we stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday on my YouTube channel, The Left Stream. But we are going to have a stream that is coming up on Thursday, and that is going to be with Pardes Saleh. So, Brittany, I don't know if you know Pardes or not. Have you ever heard of Pardes before?
No.
So she is a live streamer who used to be a lot in DC and politics. Now she does real estate. She's wearing the culture shirt over here, so she's more around the circle of like Ali Alexander and a lot of the more Trump-supporting people in that sphere. And she's also a friend of Martina Mercoda, I believe. And it would be interesting eventually to have Martina Mercoda and Brittany. I don't know.
Because Venti and Martina got heat.
Is it possible
nuclear heat.
Yeah, is it possible to have a reconciliation at a certain point? A burying the hatchet, if you will.
But why not just have a long-form argument where they just yell at each other?
That too, but I have to... I don't want BTR to turn into internet blood sports.
Oh, but Brittany, would you be willing to...
A Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, would you be willing to stream with Martina Mercoda, or is that sort of like not cool, or... I don't know.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'd have to check with my manager, but
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
There's your cat in the back. Or what's your cat's name again?
This is Reen.
Reen?
Rain.
Rain. Oh. Should I maybe call her Lane? Or no, well, you're not into the anime.
Yeah, it's a real nice looking pussy you got there, Venti.
Nice and soft.
I knew my second cat Spot. His brother was exactly like your cat Rain. Oh, look at that cutie. Boy or girl?
Beautiful.
It's a girl. My other cat Petals. She's a ragdoll, flame point ragdoll. She's on the floor over here, angrily looking at Rain because she's getting pets.
Oh, that's adorable. Now, when it comes to you, Brittany, and living in New York City, I think we have the most New York City people on the stream right now, which is me, you, Alexandra, Charles, and Gio are not in New York. But either way, when it comes to New York City, you recently got punched out by some crazy person on the subway. What exactly went there?
Oh, you're asking about when a guy tried to punch me?
Yeah.
What? I don't know. It's New York. That's just normal. You know, crazy people try to pee on you. They masturbate in front of you. They try to punch you. I didn't know the guy. I accidentally make eye contact with him. Apparently that warrants him to throw a fist at me. I dodged it, but like...
Did he even yell out, "Hey, I'm walking here"?
Nothing. He was literally like, imagine Pokemon when they like make eye contact with you and it goes... That's literally what happened. We made eye contact and then he went to punch me and then I like jumped back and dodged it. What?
Did you have a taser? I have one.
It's not legal in New York as far as I know.
Yeah,
I have pepper spray, but the problem with
taser.
pepper spray is you have to be very careful about how you use it indoors because there's a lot of recoil. So if I had to use it, I would have to use it and then back away very quickly. And by that time he was already running and I had to go to ice skating at an appointment. So I was like...
What was that? Oh, what is going on? Okay, somebody was playing a video. But anyway, when it comes to living in New York City, Brittany, do you want to still keep living here? Do you want to move eventually? Have you had enough of this godforsaken city?
Yeah, I pretty much had enough. I think I'm going to move to Texas.
There we go. And what about you, Alexandra? Are you going to stick it out?
I feel like because I was like raised here and I have like my roots are really deep here. It's hard for me to imagine living anywhere else. I do think about it from time to time. If I move, I'd probably move to California.
Out of the frying.
Another shithole. I know. Yeah.
Please.
Out of the frying pan into the fire.
But I'm kind of done with it. Like I just don't think I'm gonna find a husband in New York. That's really what it is. And like the cost of living, other factors too. But like the dating pool here is atrocious, absolutely atrocious. They're all whores. All the men here are whores. They just watch porn, fuck every girl because every girl has her legs open. They don't want to settle down. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to commit. It's awful. They're better looking here, I guess, but it's like it's not even worth it.
Here in Canada, it's the opposite. Total opposite. But
they're like fuck boys, I guess you could say. That would be the right term.
Himbos, Lev. That's the new term.
Himbos, exactly. But what are some of the conversations you would usually engage with them on a date? Because one of the problems, at least when it comes to conversations, is that I'm not a big fan of small talk. I like talking about generally interesting things like we do on BTR. But for most of the dating scene, what patterns have you personally noticed, Brittany, when it comes to the dudes?
Non-committal. And I wouldn't go on a date with someone who's like liberal or something. So I always make sure to get that out of the way so I don't have that problem of like contention with politics and stuff. And another issue obviously is like a lot of them watch porn, which I consider cheating because it's a violation of intimacy and intimacy is supposed to be special. So they'll, I guess, talk a lot of small talk too, but sometimes I'll just like, if I'm just not in the mood, I'll just go nuclear and just send them like the most offensive meme I have as a shit test to see like how cool they are, like how chill they are. You know,
if they send one back that's even spicier.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
There you go.
Because I've seen some spicy memes just today, stuff that I go, whoa, we can never post this one.
There was one guy that did that too, and I sent him spicy meme, and it was one where it's the sun. Because there was a thing on Twitter, it was like they're saying that the sun targets black people and it's racist. And the sun's saying,
well, we know the sun's racist.
N-word, right? But it's like cut off. It doesn't actually say, it just implies it. And I sent it to a guy and he was like, wow, that was risky. I was like, but did you like it? And he was like, yeah.
Did you like it?
Oh man.
Yeah, well, everybody's been under. everybody's been under the thumb of the longhouse mother or whatever you want to call it.
It's
just
very
this feeling,
true.
just this feeling of being constrained in what you are and aren't allowed to say. Like I've experienced, I personally try to say things in ways that wouldn't necessarily upset people while at the same time saying exactly what I want to say.
See, I just try to go, well, I'm a bastard. Like, what did you expect me to say? Like, I'm saying stuff to get heel heat. I'm saying things that are purposely inflammatory to get a rise out of people, because the people who are going to get mad, that's the joke for the people that get it. That's the joke.
It just seems very much like the generation that I grew up with, the millennials, back when I went to Catholic school with them. I thought, man, these are really stupid kids. How are they going to grow up and do anything? And most of them didn't. You know,
Yeah.
like most of Gen Z doesn't seem to be doing that well either, which is why I don't want to look at the past with rose-colored glasses, but it does seem like so many people today have just degenerated in terms of willpower, in terms of standing up to anything. And again,
There's
I don't know,
a lot
like
of arrested development. The idea that you're stuck in the baby phase, that you're stuck in that yummy phase of life, that you're just living for video games and fun, and you want to eat McDonald's and chicken nuggets with chicky nuggies. You want to be that guy. You don't be
Chicken
that
nugget.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tendies. Yeah.
Yeah, chicken tendies.
I think that's why the mommy GF thing is such a popular meme, because like male sexuality has really been so thoroughly policed and punished that any sort of like masculine initiative towards women has been thoroughly decimated. So now women are in this weird role of being the active participant. So men, I mean, you call it infantilization. I think there's some deeper archetypal things going there. But in essence, I think that men, they want to find like the mommy GF because they want to find a woman who is going to like, quote unquote, take care of them. Because
all men want to marry their mothers.
Yeah, true. But we had to fight that in order to become like proper, like, you know, patriarchal head of the family sort of deal. Whereas nowadays, with like, you know, the girl boss, that's become impossible.
There's a lot of fellas that just don't want to step up anymore. There's a lot of guys that want to just be children forever.
Yeah, but also why would they step up? That's the other side of the coin.
Exactly.
Where, as a guy, like Brittany, as a guy, what would you get mostly from a lot of the dating and the marriage as far as what is it in there for you, being the guy, to go through all these rituals today? I'm not talking about like 30 years ago, but like today, what would be in it for you?
For the guy, I mean, the same thing that's in it for me. Like, I would be giving them my eternal love. Like, is that not sufficient?
I mean, it's eternal
like my heart
love,
and soul,
like, you know,
and children, and like happiness and companionship.
Well, that's you. And not everybody is like you.
But it's also the guy too. Like, I would hope to find someone who also enjoys these things and feels that way. That's kind of the thing.
What I'm concerned about.
Funny. Like I came, you know, my parents divorced when I was about a year old. They were not very compatible people, and I grew up basically having a mom and a stepdad, and my dad and like a string of girlfriends of his, and like to me that was normal. Like, I never really sort of got the whole like eternal pledge of heart and soul, and like, I had, I saw my dad like every other day, and we all kind of lived close enough. It was more communal, I guess. And I don't know, so I just like wasn't raised with those values at all. They're not things that like I see.
Neither was I. My parents were divorced when I was 1 year old as well. They were like never together in my life. So I understand. I don't know why it turned out like this with these sort of like desires, because I never really had a good example of it. But maybe that's why, because there's two roads you can go down. You can go down the same road where you end up the same, or you kind of rebel against it and you oppose that. Maybe for me it was anime, like watching Inuyasha gave me an idealized version of like romance.
You wanted to go out on a quest and find
Alex,
some
don't
jewel
you think,
shards.
Is that the problem you have
Pack
with
a real
relating
big
to men
boomerang.
because of your upbringing, you think?
My problem? My problem? Oh yeah. No, I don't know. I don't necessarily think so. I just maybe feel that like, it's not the only route towards happiness. Maybe I'm
but it kind of is though.
It depends on the person. Some people are just naturally born with some desires, and for me, like I have like an intense desire to basically find my other half. It's like priority. So for other people, they find that desire fulfilled in like their job or their hobby or whatever. But
yeah,
for
a lot
me,
of gals used to have that, and there's sort of a ticking clock too, because you can sort of the gals describe that feeling of it's almost like the ghost of this clock behind them that they can feel
it's
it creeping
specter
over
if you listen
woman.
really
everywhere
closely,
that
you
they
hear the
go.
clock ticking.
Yeah, everywhere they go, this clock is ticking. It's like I'm getting older. You got to have the kids now. If you don't have them now, you're not going to have
there's
them.
a clock behind them and there's a wall in front of them. So eventually...
Shut up, Lev! Shut up!
Alex, you can't deny it.
Okay, so the other concern is not everybody is going to be like Brittany Venti, and what a lot of guys I think are starting to think now is that, man, like these girls, they're not really going to be a Brittany Venti for me. They're going to not commit themselves and yada yada yada. They're just going to kind of like be
Brittany,
on the side, eating pom poms all day or whatever.
Yeah, but Brittany, don't you have like
snowballs.
a stream like hot and cold on the tap of like guys that would like the like more traditionally minded men that you engage with that could potentially
apparently
I don't
not
know, going with fans are kind of a bad idea. I don't know.
Apparently not. I went through 300 applications. I'll just leave it at that.
You went through boyfriend applications?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing it for entertainment purposes first and foremost. But if I happen to find my husband, I'm not going to complain.
He just happened to find a guy. He just happens to be 6'6" and a doctor, and he happens to have the sharpest humor possible.
Yeah.
Do you feel Brittany like
6'6"?
Only one man can be my husband, so it just takes one.
But in all honesty, Brittany, be honest with me. Do you feel that because you get? I know this sounds terrible. Do you get like, because you get a constant stream of mostly male attention, that do you find your standards have become increasingly more stringent and unrealistic? Or do you like just tune that out of your mind and you figure like if these incels on the internet follow me, then it's like, you know, like, I mean, because that is obviously like what some
they're just so damn thirsty
people have said.
They got a thirst like in a desert. Like these guys act like they've never gotten an ounce of coochie in their life.
Well, that's true. There's a lot of thirsty men online.
Hey, I'm one of them. I know that feeling, but it's
you got a shed built and everything.
It has like warped your perception.
I don't think it has. I don't find validation in random men's. Like I said, only one man could be my husband, and that would be the person that I personally get validation from. Like 1,000 guys can comment or whatever, and it's like, whatever. I don't really care, but like, if it's my significant other, like that really matters to me.
Get that one stud.
Yeah,
and I've also always had the
nature.
same. I've always also had the same type, by the way. So I don't think it's like.
What is your type?
Honestly, it's like the stereotypical Chad. Like it's just my personal taste. Like I understand other women. It's mean that all women have taste, but like some women actually don't like that, and they have like other types of guys they'll go for. But like I've literally always, like even before I was on the internet, had a type, and that's just like what I personally am attracted to.
Yeah, why not shoot for the moon, right?
I mean, I don't think I'm necessarily a low value woman.
You're trying to find Mr. Right, but
you're
what about
looking
Mr.
for the
Good
moon
for right now?
We also have a super chat from Alex Better who says Austin is as bad as New York City for dating. So much the gens.
Well, I'd say any major city is going to be a real problem for people. Because people in cities just show their ass, like Brittany was saying. You know, these guys, the jackers and the punchers and like weird bums. Well, I mean, whatever you call them. You know, there's a reason why they need needlemen in cities that go around picking up needles.
Oh, those kind of jackers. I thought you meant the other kind of jackers.
Well, I was thinking, you know, jackers.
Well, we cut you off, Brittany, but then what were we going to say, Alexandra, after Brittany? Yep.
What was I saying? Before I was saying like women are more discriminatory by nature, so you can have an army of beta cuck orbiters, you know, surrounding you. That doesn't make you like, you know, it doesn't matter. It really won't. Like ultimately, like women will have standards. Like it's just baked in. You know?
I think men don't get it because in their perception, the dynamic is just different. So like their perception of a bunch of women chasing them is completely different with how it validates them versus, because we choose who to have sex with, right? Who to marry. Men are like chasing, and they take what they can get. So the dynamic's completely different. So it's going to be different if a guy, like, this is actually a problem. I've encountered this problem over and over and over, and it's probably why I don't have a husband. So every time you find a Giga Chat that's like 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, you know, has all the check marks, like decent money, enough to be a provider, they look good, they're funny, they're conservative or whatever, or conservative-ish, same values, right? Mm-hmm. Then because they're so attractive, they're treated so well and like given everything, and women are throwing themselves at them, opening their legs, because that dynamic is different, it really warps them. And
yeah, I got a friend.
It's the dynamic.
Jeez, I didn't think men like that exist.
They're always it's so bad. It's
I got
so
a friend
bad.
who's cursed, who's absolutely cursed.
When
by
has a woman ever
pussy.
thrown herself at a man? I've never seen this happen.
This guy is cursed with getting way too much puss.
No, it's
he plays guitar.
It makes them watch porn for real.
Yeah,
it makes them into whores.
Men are very easily warped in general, but especially by women. I think, like, and yeah, the more female attention a guy will get, I think, the bigger an asshole he tends to be.
But the more women that attracts. So
yeah, they love
go.
it. That's what they're looking for.
It's the hedonic treadmill, in my opinion. I don't know.
Everybody wants what they can't have.
And how is it in the past? There's like these infographics that people post on 4chan all the time to talk about like the level of men and women where one lines up with the other, and now thanks to Tinder, all the women end up going to the alpha Giga Chat, and all the men, especially on the bottom, are stuck without it, forever thirsty.
Scraping the bottom.
No, that's literally been, dude, like, hypergamy has been a thing for generations and generations. It used to be way worse, actually.
Not really.
Didn't really make things that different. It's just always been this way. It's like
it used to be worse at a different level. It was worse in terms of a man's sort of talent and ability, but it was certainly not worse in terms of like very superficial metrics that dating apps have instantiated upon most younger women. Like, that's the problem, is that you're essentially hijacking a woman's ability to discern in general. Right.
Fewer people are like Brittany Venti now. Fewer people are looking for long-term relationships. More people are, maybe they have kids already. They're like, or they're looking for a third, or whatever the fuck it is. Like, it's a very different dynamic, especially again in New York.
But is it also a matter of technology advancing and certain opportunities arising where before there was a closed door?
Easier.
Well, there was a closed door for women as far as having certain kinds of jobs they weren't allowed to. Now they have. And the question for me is always like, are we going through a certain growth spurt right now, a certain dealing with things that we've never encountered before, where a lot of women are encouraged to like go out and have a certain job, work in an office, and then eventually do you think that's going to level out, and some women will think, you know what, maybe I should settle down earlier, or I don't know, like, do you think
see a lot of articles about that, where the gals are like, oh man, I wished I'd had a family instead of having this career. I messed up, whoopsie daisy.
I don't always the case
ever. I never ever encounter a woman bemoaning the fact that she makes lots of money and like has made a career for herself. Because like, we also, like, talking about technology, we have the ability to freeze our eggs. There's IVF.
Well, I mean, there was that one woman who froze them and then they broke.
They died. I know, that's so heartbreaking.
Broke her eggs?
It's a risk, yeah.
Yeah.
But come on, do you honestly want to be like a first-time mother when you're fucking 50 years old, as opposed to when you're spry and you know what I mean? Like, that's...
I want to be a hot
stepmom.
I want to be a hot stepmom. That's
but men could be fathers a bit older because we have a different role in life. We have a different sort of register.
Yeah. Well, there's hot stepmom, and then there's
that much older. Like, you don't want to have a kid. Like by the time you're 50, like, your sperm has degraded. Like, the DNA is starting to kind of break.
It has.
Apart.
Sperm banks literally don't accept sperm past 35.
Yeah,
like, they stop accepting sperm. It decreases. So
I don't know. It seems like the mirror image of like MGTOW discourse, but only toward I don't know what I'm saying.
WGTOW.
Oh, I know.
No,
David Letterman.
joking.
Femcel type of disco.
You're channeling my inner
later
femcel with
50s
these
having
questions,
kids.
though, because like, so for example, you say that and like generally people say that women choose their careers over family, but that's not always the case. Like it definitely exists.
Oh, well, there's a lot of articles. That's what
no, I mean it's
Let me
largely
tell
just
you.
among a certain socio-demographic of women.
I
it
have
exists.
encountered women like begrudging the fact that like they've devoted time to their careers, because women who do that know what they're doing. They don't just accidentally like, you know, commit to their careers rather than raising a family. It's a very conscious choice.
There's that aspect, but then there's also the group of women who are working who do not want to work too. Because I know, because of my friends, like I know so many girls that have like very good values. They want a husband, they want kids, and they're good girls and they're attractive, and they can't find a husband because men don't want to step up and they're forced to work, and they're like, I shouldn't be waging right now. I should not be wage cucking right now.
Well, and part of the problem though is wage stagnation. You know, it's much harder to support multiple.
Well, we all know that feminism itself was actually like all these people, the manosphere people, they get it wrong. Feminism was a creation of the capitalist overclass. In fact, the Rockefeller Foundation originally funded the suffragettes to increase the the sort of worker bee population, then also drive down wages. Now, of course, Westerners aren't having kids in general, so they just have they support open doors migration, which is going to fulfill that same role that women did back in the post-war period. So it's sort of like, yeah, well, you know.
So guys, I think we should get to super chats right now, and we are going to be concluding this stream very soon. So here are the super chats that we have accumulated during this time as well. So let's see, here we go. Okay, so Doc Holliday's about Brittany's opinion on the fairest election, most popular president of all time. And again, let's keep it as close to the vest as possible, because this is YouTube and Twitch and all these platforms. So I know, like, in short, any opinion on that at all in any coded way that you would want to say, Brittany?
I just have nothing good to say. Like,
good, that's the best answer. Thank you. All right, next over here we have Doc Holiday, $5 to super chat. Yas, don't use Judeo-Christian term. Won my heart. So that one is for you, Alexandra. And we have Nico donated 100 ARS, which is 1.04 US dollars.
What's that currency, ARS?
Argentinian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that out from one guy in Argentina.
Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you, our Argentina. My
you.
good friend, by the way, friend of the show, Lady Astor. She is also from Argentina, and she is a brilliant woman. And we should invite her on again, Lev. She's pretty,
excellent.
She was also on Bronze Age Perverts podcast a few months ago. So,
and Nico says, "Don't let Styx deceive you, Geo. Commercialism isn't liberal, but how come the liberals allowed themselves to be conquered by leftists? USA was a very free market, and they were crushed without mercy." Responses.
Oh, I would agree with that. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but what's the alternative? That's the thing that I don't never understand.
Lev, you say this every stream.
Yes, I do, because it's important. Okay, next we have Walter.
The alternative is I can't say it on YouTube.
Okay. Walter Deadman donated $4.99. Excuse me, by the sun only keeps the chosen alive. I'm not really sure what exactly that means, but whatever. Anyway, Alex Better, $2 through Super Chat. Austin is... I already said it, but I'm going to say it again. Austin is as bad as New York City for dating. So much to gens. Well, Tim Dillon was not a big fan of Austin, which is why he moved back to Los Angeles. He still has the house in Austin. I know Joe Rogan is trying to do something there. Justin Murphy, who we mentioned before, moved to Austin, so we'll see what happens with him. Anyway, we have Yiz the Eunuch, donated $5. Good stream today. Glad I was able to catch this today. Keep up the good work, Lev and Geo. Well, you also keep the good work up of donating, sneeding the super chats our way. Patreon.com as well.
Wait, what would that super chat say?
Oh, a good stream today. Glad I was able to catch this today. Keep up the good work, Lev and Geo. So there we go. So one last thing before we go. We are going to be having Brittany on several episodes to come, and I really appreciate you, Brittany, being here, and you are a wonderful, beautiful human being. This is my simp. This is Lev simping the hell out of Brittany and Alexandra. I know, Gio, you may have to build another shed, so let's see how the progress there happens. But anyway, guys, we are coming to the end of the stream. Brittany, is there anything that you would like to promote before we go?
Yes, there's a $200 reward for anybody who can refer me to a Chad BF that will be a husband. Just putting that out there. $200 reward if you find me a Chad husband. And also
only 200.
Yes.
Your eternal love is worth $200.
Oh, you happen to have a hot friend that is like anti-porn, and you just like,
so it's a referral fee.
Well, I happen to know a lot of rednecks and hillbillies around here that love to have a nice gal like Venti.
And
you bet your ass they're conservative.
Yes. Follow Brittany on YouTube if you have not already. She has a brilliant YouTube channel, and of course twitter.com/BrittanyVenti, and Masked Bastard Charles
Wait,
Kahn.
Brittany, what you were gonna say before
yes.
we cut you off?
Yes.
No, that's it. That's it.
Okay. Gio's a gentleman. That's how you know. Okay. Charles Kahn, that's great right. Charles Kahn.
So I'm Mask_Bastard, Twitter, Instagram. Mine's I've got the podcast Real Weird Sickos. I believe our second episode goes up this week, which is really the third episode. We got a lot of fun stuff, and we're on Twitter, YouTube, Real Weird Sickos. I've got every Friday I play Dungeons and Dragons on a live stream, twitch.tv/Charles Kahn. Past games up on youtube.com/Charles Kahn.
Here we go. That's right. Real Weird Sickos. Be sure to follow the Real Weird Sickos. And that is with a Masked Bastard yourself, Dojengles, and Tom Videogre. Tom Videogre. Excellent. Okay. Alexandra, Porco Rosso flies again. Again, Porco. At Again Porco on Twitter. You have a very limited amount of Twitter followers because you are incredibly exclusive.
I'm not posting my art, and I need to start doing that.
Yes, you have 161 followers. So guys, pump those numbers up right now for Alexandra, the beautiful demon cow girl, whatever you want to call her.
What was the name of the Egyptian goddess? Nut, who's like a cow?
Nut. No, I don't think it's Nut.
I think it's Nut, dude.
Yeah, maybe. But anyways, let us go to Gio. What do you have cooking in your kitchen?
I have to get back to writing, but I might come out with a piece soon for the American Sun. But go to my YouTube channel, go to my Twitter, obviously where you can find everything. I'm working on a link tree, twitter.com/JanetGeo, youtube.com/Janner Productions. I'm going to release a video on the Humans of Flat Design banner image that I recorded audio for. And I might be recording. Yeah, and I'm going to record. Oh, thank you, Alex. And I have to release you out of my shed more frequently as a reward.
Wait, Alex, have you seen Gio's shed? The actual shed? Have you seen it yet?
Yeah. No, does Brittany know about this shed wife meme?
Yeah. Brittany, are you aware of the shed?
No.
What
am I?
Okay,
One time
so there's
we were
such
on
a thing
stream,
as a trad wife, right? But there's also a thing as the shed wife.
Ugh.
Where you have your wife that you have in your house, who's the housewife, but you also have the one that you keep out in the tool shed.
Here, this is the actual shed.
We have a meme going on because when Charles was on last time, we talked about the Joseph Fritzl case in Australia, where he had a literal shed family.
Well, it was in his basement, and it was his daughter.
Yeah.
What do you think? Well, what do you think of the?
It's a creepy idea that we're trying to satirically.
What do you think of the colors?
Yeah,
by the
it was
way,
terrible. We should have never mentioned it.
Is this
how horny
color?
Gio is for every gal that we have on?
Oh god.
Alex, is this your color? Because Gio can repaint it if you want.
Yeah, Pepto-Bismol pink.
Alexandra, would you prefer mauve or what shade of pink would you like?
I have gotten an idea over the course of this stream. I want to draw Brittany Venti as a superhero. Okay.
Hell yeah, there we go.
That's my superpower.
Well, okay, so you're Brittany Venti, and you've got these special orbs that follow you around, and they can
the Chaos Emeralds.
What they can
like
basically,
Syndra from League of Legends. I love her.
Yeah,
used to
whatever.
name
I don't
her.
know. I don't follow this shit. Like I don't know anything. But like
Those are super
they can
villains.
attack your enemies for you to like fly out, and it'll be Brittany, Venti, and her beta orbiters.
Oh, I like that.
Oh,
Does
Has
she
crystals on each.
simp woman or porn gal, villains like that.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm taking it a little bit more serious than that.
Maybe she could
Really,
rise
really
above like she would be like a Mary figure rising above a whole sea of like simps. Like that one illustration for I Am Legend, the book, where it's like the sea of vampires. But like Brittany Venti will be coming out of the fray of the simps. So that could be something. There you go.
No, you'll see what I'm talking about.
I like how it's
Excellent.
implied that they're disposable. Like you're just like
The
throwing
Sims,
them,
yeah, they explode.
throwing them to cages.
They're the orbiters.
where
Yeah,
they
they're not
belong.
Sims, they're orbiters.
Yeah.
And they're just
But
like
they're-
little machines.
But their power is that they're able to give you money while they're orbiting around you, and that increases your power.
As
Like,
they
They're
spin
walking
more.
ATM machines.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, they give her money, which
Maybe
gives her
you're
more
a villain
power.
actually, and like you rob banks using these like beta orbiters because you're the alpha. Like that's
No,
how it
she's
works.
the Sigma.
And the only
Sigma,
one that can
yeah.
stop her is
Yeah,
the
I'm the
Giga
Sigma
Chad.
female. I'm gonna make a video about that today, actually.
Oh,
Oh.
you've got Sigma female grind set.
There we
You'll
go.
see in the
Excellent.
Oh,
What is
guys-
what is the female
Yeah.
equivalent of the Sigma, by the way? I don't know.
video. There's a whole list. I actually found the chart
of
for
course
this.
there
I
is.
was gonna use it for the video.
It's just like
Yeah.
genders. There's so many now.
Mm-hmm. So guys,
Whole
follow me.
rainbow.
Follow me on Twitter at LevPo, LEVPO. That's it. That's how the
Oh, and
Twitter is
YouTube.
spelled.
That's your own
Yes,
channel.
every Sunday we have, although not this Sunday because it's July 4th, but every Sunday we have a Lev stream art stream. So for those who don't know, I am an animation director, I make animated films, and I also make NFTs. So this is my YouTube channel right over here. Follow my YouTube right now. And also as far as the NFT work, you can follow me on levcards.com and on SuperRare. Here is a recent card that I did on SuperRare called Peer Reminder. It's very psychedelic. Invest in Lev right now because as BTR grows, I am going to grow. I built this whole thing from the ground, getting all these guests out of nothing. I have the mandate of heaven. And if you guys follow me, you are not going to
You
do wrong.
alone, Lev?
Pretty much me alone.
Oh.
Yes,
How
absolutely.
mad
100%.
with power.
Mad with power.
Yeah,
I'm
he
getting
is break the
stronger.
rules.
I'm getting stronger. So guys, follow me on YouTube, follow everybody here, and also, last but not least, we are going to have, for Break the Rules this Thursday, a stream with Pardes Selech. I don't know how to pronounce
And what's
her name.
next week, Lev?
1 second, I will tell you, but here is the stream. Okay, everybody who's watching this right now, set a reminder for this stream over here. Pardes Selech returns on the future of media. That is going to be this Thursday, but here is what is going to be
We have all
on
the
the days to come.
most attractive women here on Break the Rules.
Absolutely,
I'm
we do.
noticing.
But in general, just so you guys know,
A lot of
once
Sigma
again,
females.
A lot of
exactly.
Sigma
Yeah,
females.
Just so you guys know, once again, what exactly Break the Rules is, because I know that a lot of you guys are from Styx and Brittany over here. You're not really sure, like, what is this small fucking channel? I will explain everything. We started last May. We grew to around 4,000 something. I mean, they keep growing by the day today, subscribers. And what we basically do is we pair up people who are extremely online, Twitter personalities, anonymous people with anime avatars, together with very much more prominent people who are in positions of power, political advisors, and, people who are in the quote-unquote real world, which I think is mimetically being affected by the world of the internet. We pair them all together because these are people who would never otherwise talk in real life, and we are making it happen. And some of our guests have included Charles Carroll, Frank Hassel, Doug Tenapel of Earthworm Jim fame, Dennis McKenna, Jonathan Peugeot, Tony Henchcliffe, and now Styx Brittany, we are growing every day thanks to your help, thanks to your support. So that is all that I have to say before we end this.
We also had Graham Hancock before.
Yes. No, Rupert Sheldrake. So anyway, over here, we have the following things happening next week. So we have Pardes, as I mentioned before, Thursday, July 1. We have I, Hypocrite, Tuesday, July 6th. We have Uncle Doomer.
That'll be fun. He's a fun guy.
Yeah. We have Uncle Doomer, Thursday, July 8th. We have Jack Murphy, Tuesday, July 13th. We have, okay, so I'm not going to mention this yet because I need a confirmation from Brittany. Oh, you know what? Brittany's right here. I mean, I could give you the offer right now. Brittany, would you be interested in reverse debating Ayala Girl on the subject of pornography?
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right, let's do it.
Interesting.
For those who don't know, we've had her on before. Ayala Girl is the number one creator on OnlyFans, and she is also a rationalist. She's very strange. But we've had her on before.
So she's doing all the OnlyFans, like the whole gamut of all that weird fetish content.
You literally couldn't find a better porn defender to debate Brittany than Ayala Girl, put it that way.
Oh, that ought to be interesting.
Yeah. And here is the link to that stream, by the way.
Apart if you were to resurrect Al Goldstein himself.
Yes.
Oh, I tuned in for that one.
My favorite part, by the way, is the Geo necklace that my father painted over here.
Yeah, we debated on. We have this panel, for those who don't know, called "Argue My Position," where we do a reverse debate, and I had to argue for women's rights, and she had to argue against women's rights. Although I don't believe in human rights in general as a concept. I love women, totally pro-woman. This is a woman respecter show. Yes. But Brittany, I mean, you should watch that debate. I mean, Ayala, just to prepare yourself to interact with Ayala, it's kind of quite an interesting experience to say the least.
Is. Tuesday, July 20, we have Travis Brown of Become the Signal Productions. Then we should have Uber Boyo and Jonathan Peugeot on Thursday, July 22. I gotta make sure with both of them.
Nobody else has done that.
It's gonna be in late July, and then we have over here the E-Girl E-Grill stream, which I am planning for Tuesday, July 27th. Brittany, I would love for you to join us for that one.
Another E-Girl stream, yes.
But it's gonna be special because we're gonna have the guys actually grilling live while the stream is going on. So
you're gonna grill me?
You're gonna
put a fucking apple in my mouth and then default friend and my friend Alicia. They're gonna like slowly.
All he wanted to do was grill.
Alexandra is just gonna turn me on the. Alexandra, you're gonna baste me? Is that what you're gonna have?
You're gonna be based?
Yeah.
Are you based?
Master baster.
Kinky, man.
Yeah.
Master baster.
All right.
Be the masked baster.
Oh boy.
All right, guys. That's it. This is it. Let's not push our luck anymore. This is a fantastic stream. I really appreciate everybody watching.
Huge success.
I had a lot of fun. It was great.
And once again, thank you to Styx for coming on. We hope to have him again with different people. He truly is a phenomenal person. He's doing God's work, or well, I'll say that as a Catholic, I forgive his transgressions against the church, but he truly is a beautiful mind, and he's really, nobody else is doing the news the way he does it.
Yes.
Like with his critical
lens.
We
didn't get into it, but I wanted to talk to him about that and his presentation, how good that is, of just one man, one camera, one cut, just straight through.
Amazing. And we are definitely going to have Styx back, and I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, guys, subscribe to this. Yes, add the likes. And also, if you can do a favor, go to the last Twitter post that I made about this event and just share it with all of your friends. Right now, this is a big... Sneed. Okay, this is the Twitter post right here. Share it with all your friends. Let everybody know what Break the Rules is all about. We are bringing everybody together.
And subscribe, please. We need more subscribers. Right now, exactly. We want to get to 10K before Christmas.
Woo! All right, guys. This is it. This is the end. Like and bell. Click that bell because nobody ever does that. Take care, everybody.